The harsh truth is that most people gain weight during the holiday season. And not only that, but they stress out the whole time about not being on their diet and not being as consistent as they typically are. So in this video, I'm gonna help you avoid that while still being able to enjoy the holidays guilt-free. I'm gonna explain exactly why people typically gain weight around this time of year, and also give you some tangible tips that you can put into practice this holiday season and every year going forward that I've been using successfully for years and using with clients as well. So make sure you watch the whole video so you know exactly what to do. We think of the holidays as this stretch from November to the end of December going into the new year. But the truth is that the holidays is really just 4 to 5 dinners, and it's not a month or 2 months long. And from what I've seen working in the fitness industry for over a decade now is that people don't gain 5 or 10 pounds of body fat because of just Christmas dinner or just Thanksgiving or just Hanukkah, but it's because they're off track throughout that entire time period, pretty much from Thanksgiving Day up till New Year's Day. So I'm gonna share with you a few very simple ways to approach the holidays, including what sort of mindset to be in, as well as some more practical things you can do on the holiday itself to really make sure you don't gain body fat. That way you can start the new year and every new year going forward with some momentum with your fitness, and you don't have to feel like you're digging yourself out of a 10-pound hole every January. So here's the deal. Christmas Day, you're probably gonna have a nice big holiday meal with some desserts. You're probably not gonna hit your macros or calories that day. And between Thanksgiving and New Year, maybe you have 2 or 3, maybe even 4 get-togethers with your family or various sides of your family to celebrate the holidays. Maybe you have a work holiday party as well. Maybe you celebrate the holidays with some friends too, so you have like a friends Thanksgiving or a friends holiday get-together. And then we have New Year's Eve, and that's really the extent of the holiday season, right? So really we're talking about 7 or 8 meals where you're probably going to overeat, have more than you usually do, and probably be off track. So here's what I want you to do. Mentally plan in your head to be off track on those 7 or 8 days. You've got to set proper expectations. So you aren't expecting to be super diligent with your diet and to be hitting your macros on those 7 or 8 actual holiday meals. And setting proper expectations is so important because it prevents you from getting frustrated and discouraged when you aren't eating so well on those days. But this also allows you to then enjoy those holidays guilt-free because you've already planned ahead that those aren't going to be great days nutritionally. And we aren't counting on those days to be really on point with your diet. So here's where the strategy and mindset side of things comes in. Set aside those 7 or 8 days. What I want you to do is go out of your way to be very consistent and relatively strict with your diet and your eating on the remaining 22 days left in December. Those are just normal days, right? They're not holiday get-togethers. That's where we want to show up and be as consistent as possible and come as close to our target macros or calories as we can. That doesn't mean you should starve yourself or eat drastically low amounts of food. It just means that you're being consistent on those 22 days. You're coming close to your calories or macros. You're giving yourself good quality foods. And that's still a pretty decent ratio of consistency, right? 22 days of being good and on track with our nutrition and 7 or 8 days being off track. In the month of December, I'll take that ratio for myself, and certainly I'll take that for my clients. So like I said, on those 22 days, really make an effort to hit your macros. Try limiting going out to eat if you don't need to. If you have some food around, eat what you've got available in your house or apartment, or prioritize getting groceries rather than going out to eat all the time. Make sure you've got a stocked up fridge full of good quality foods and fruits and vegetables and proteins that are beneficial to your goals. And obviously get your workouts in on those 22 days, stay active, get your steps in. It's stupidly simple, and you know these things already, but this is literally the key to maintaining your fitness throughout the holidays and doing it every single year so you can start each calendar year in a little bit better shape than you were in last year. The problem is where people, and a lot of people do this, they suffer from the all or nothing mindset. So this can make it incredibly challenging to accept that you're throwing in the towel for those 7 or 8 holidays and you're not planning to try to even be good in any way with your nutrition. It can be hard to accept that for those 7 or 8 days, you know you're gonna be off track. Many people who have this all or nothing mindset consider themselves perfectionists sometimes, right? And they can't fathom the idea that if they can't do something 100% perfectly, that it's worth doing less than that. The way they see it is if they can't do it 100% perfectly, it's not worth doing anything at all. So they literally put their health on pause. They don't do any workouts for the entire month of December. They don't track their food at all. They pretty much don't make any attempt to do anything because they already know they're not gonna be able to do it as perfectly as they want to. And they literally sit there and wait until the new year when they think they can do it perfectly again. And those are the people who gain 5 to 10 pounds every single year from Thanksgiving to January 1st. It's not because of Christmas night or Thanksgiving dinner or New Year's Eve. It's not any one day, because scientifically, you're not going to gain multiple pounds of body fat in just one day of eating. But the reason this happens is because they are literally off track and in holiday mode for multiple weeks. 4 to 6 weeks. So if that's you, if this resonates with you, you need to overcome this all or nothing mindset. You've got to do your best to accept the fact that for those 7 or 8 days, maybe for you it's 5 or maybe it's 9, it's in that range. For those specific holiday get-togethers, you're just gonna be off track. So try to set those realistic expectations for yourself, and that way, maybe you can give yourself some permission to enjoy the holidays guilt-free. But then do what I said, turn around and be really consistent, really diligent in those other 22 or 23 days of the month. And what you'll find is that you can have your cake and eat it too, literally. You'll find that during this time of the year, you actually enjoy the time with your family more because you're less stressed. And you'll absolutely start the new year in better shape than you have been in the past. Now let's talk about 2 stupidly simple tactics that you can put into practice right away for those actual days that are holidays. So you know those 7 or 8 days we're talking about where you're already setting expectations to be off track. Here's 2 simple things you can do on those days to keep calories in check. Number 1 is to eat lighter and leaner earlier in the day, because almost all of these holidays are gonna be dinners, right? They're gonna be dinner events, Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, Christmas Eve dinner, get-togethers with your family. So we can actually prepare earlier in the day a little bit and save calories for that heavier holiday meal. So I want you to eat very light and lean meals for breakfast and lunch, but also accumulate as much protein as you can, because protein is gonna keep you full and it's gonna take pressure off you to eat more protein in your dinner meal. So if we can get in like half of our day's worth of protein just in breakfast and lunch while saving most of our fats and carbs for later, that's gonna put us in the best possible position. So an example of this might be something like having a double protein shake for breakfast and then a salad with some grilled chicken for lunch. Or another example might be having an egg white omelet with a bunch of vegetables for breakfast and having that double protein shake for lunch. Tip number 2 is to practice portion control for the holiday meal. Let's be clear, have whatever foods or desserts you want to have for that holiday meal, but do your best to keep everything to 1 or 2 servings, because 1 serving of anything isn't going to hurt you. So have 1 or 2 cookies, just don't have 9. Have 1 slice of pie, just don't have 3 or 4. Go ahead, have 1 scoop of potatoes or stuffing or whatever your favorite foods are, just don't have a ton. Put these 2 simple tips into practice this holiday season, and I promise it will make a massive difference for you. And I say that so confidently because I've coached tons of men over the last decade to put these things into practice, and I've heard dozens and dozens of times from grown men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s that haven't done stuff like this before before or haven't executed it properly, that it was the most successful holiday season they've ever had, and it was stress-free, it was guilt-free, and yet they still feel confident and happy with where their body and their health and their fitness is at after the holidays are done. I really hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, consider subscribing because I make new videos just like this every single week, including this one that I'm gonna leave for you up here, which I think you'll really like and find helpful if you liked this video as well. So I'll catch you over there.